Hi everyone, welcome to another round of Q&A with the founder of Jim's Group. Jim, how are you, Jim?
Yeah, good.
Sure, are you doing much for Easter or got much plans? Or
Yeah, just the family. We've got a big Easter egg hunt planned for the kids, so they love that.
That's nice. Okay, so basically I'll just run through some standard stuff here, guys. Actually, really exciting announcement tonight, which I'll get to in a minute. Normal thing, if you're not following Jim on Instagram, follow Jim on Instagram at Jim Penman. Facebook's at Jim Penman Official. Also follow Jim on Twitter, which is Jim Penman2. Hopefully we get Jim Penman, the name, back soon. Now, I'll run through the best question again tonight. Will win a copy of a signed book.
Whichever one they like.
Whichever one they like, that's Jim's book. That's the one that's in the stores at the moment, and this is the one that's downloadable. We do have the audio book finally for this, and I'll get it up onto Audible hopefully end of next week, and we'll also send some copies to our franchisors and divisionals and franchisees if they want to have a listen on the audio version of that. It's a great listen. But Jim's book as well is in stores now, and fancy that, the lady who won the book last week actually went on to buy a franchise, or I think she started the process for a dog wash franchise.
Yeah, she was looking at us already, but that's really nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's good. It's good, that book. It's anybody hasn't read it, it's real warts and all.
It is. The best comment I love from you is when you read it, you're like, I didn't even know half this stuff went on.
No.
Back in the day.
It was quite a surprise, some of those things they told me. Like, my early franchisors weren't who I thought they were. So
yeah. So it's a great read. It's a very honest read as well. Not much has been filtered out. I know you didn't really take much. Nothing was taken out to my knowledge at all.
No. I don't agree with everything everybody says, obviously, but I think it's fairly put. I must say, I had nothing to do with the title or the comment about the backyard millionaire either. That wasn't my decision at all.
Yeah, knowing you're very humble, so you wouldn't want that. Yeah, you wouldn't have picked that as a title. So a few people are tuning in now. So hi to Sal John. Hey, Jim. Sal, thanks for tuning in again, mate. Jason Pollock. Hi, Jim and Joel. Happy Easter for the weekend. Hi, Jason. Thanks for saying that. And Owen Bramwood. Hey, Jim and Joel. Thanks for letting us know you're here. And we'll get rolling. So what I'll do is I'll announce this comp. This actual bit of clip footage we get here is going to be used for the website when this is actually live, but I'll give you a teaser. What we're basically going to do is we're going to run a competition till the end of June. It's backing off all the whole Jim's memeing, that sort of logo phenomenon going around on the internet, which is great. We love it. So what we're going to do is announce this. Jim's logo comp, and this was made with our own Jim's logo generator, which we're going to have up on jims.net by the end of next week, where anyone from the public, anyone can go in there. You can create your own Jim's service. You can put in there whatever you want. So I've made our one there, hashtag Jim's logo comp, and put our little service logo there, hashtag Jim's logo comp. And you can go in there, do that, share that to the social platforms, follow us on the social platforms, but you've got to make sure that when you do it, you post it into Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook and use hashtag Jim's logo comp. Because what we're going to do at the end of up to 30 of June, we're going to search that hashtag, and the one that gets the most likes, shares, or engagement stats on it is going to win a first prize. Now, do you want to tell them what that first prize will be, Jim?
We'll fly them to Melbourne and have dinner with me. Now, that not much of a prize, I admit. That's what we decided on.
Yeah, so we'll try and push that.
You'll be an overnight guest too at a conference center.
Yeah, so the plan is basically flights from anywhere in Australia or New Zealand. You come here to National, you get to meet Jim, have dinner with Jim. You can ask him anyone. It's great if you're a business person because you can pick his brain. Or if you just want to meet Jim, have dinner with Jim. He'll be more than happy to tell you anything you want. You can ask him any question you want. We'll also get that logo that you win with, and we'll put that on merchandise. Now, that could be drink bottles, T-shirts, some jumpers, and a hat. We'll give you a pack. We'll take some photos here, but you'll fly you here and you can stay here for a couple of nights. You can have a look around. But we think it's going to be really fun. Then there'll be 20 runner-up prizes. So there'll be 10 of these which will be signed, and there'll be 10 of these which will be signed. So you've got 21 chances to win. So when that generator goes live next Friday, what I'll be doing is I'll be putting an announcement on Facebook. I'll put a link to the generator, and you can get in there and start playing around. And make sure you upload them as much as possible to your social platforms and use the hashtag. And as I said, the one that gets the most social engagement will win an exclusive dinner with Jim. He thinks
maybe Joel will come too if you want to.
No one wants me involved. This is the man here. So Jim reckons it's not much of a prize, but I think it's a great prize. You know, you get to pick an entrepreneur's brain for a night if you're into that. And Jim is very entertaining, and he's got a lot of games as well. Maybe you can try some of the white hats and all the what you do at the training. So I think it's a really good prize. So I'll just run through what we're looking for here. So obviously it's got to be the one that's going to win, or the one that will win. They've got to be fairly reasonable. Now, what I mean by that is I don't want to go into it too much, but you know what I mean by that. So you can't get too rude or out of control within reason. Do your division. Well, that's not what services you offer, right? So I'm going to run through this now. So Obviously, Jim's logo comp, we're going to do that, and that was made with our Jim's generator. Thanks to Jim's Memeing. This has been inspired by the Jim's Memeing Facebook page. Hopefully getting down soon. So we're going to run through a few of these, Jim, which were done on. I've taken these from the Jim's Memeing page. So Jim's Gym. Now, I know the gym has been a very big bugbear for you, but Jim's Gyms we'll hopefully have soon. So that's a good one. What else have we got? Jim's Festivals for the younger fellas there. Bucket hats, glasses. We can organise a DJ, all that sort of stuff. Tell us what you do with the service. We've got Jim's Cathedral Repair. So obviously Paris, the Notre Dame, could be using this service. So this one
Cathedral burns down, we'll fix it for you.
Exactly right. And what else have we got? Jim's cloning. So I don't know if you're going to do a cloning program in the future. Never know. I know how much you like your research. We've got also Jim's Dim Sims, you ring, we bring, with a really nice tagline. So put a tagline for your service or your new division. Let us know what it's about. And this one I thought I'd give a bit of a shout out to, which is quite funny. We had I don't know where you can see it, but we had a demolition derby car entered with Jim's Political Eggings as the as a sponsor on that one, which is an absolute ripper. If you do have a sporting team or you have done stuff, let us know. Send us a DM and we'll try and reshare on our sort of content. We do have sporting teams and some Instagram pages say, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? We're more than open to anything like that, as long as it's obviously, within good taste. Bit of fun, we're all for that. So the more the better. Just let us know. Send us a picture of it and we can share it to you.
I keep on send all this stuff. People say, aren't you offended by that? I said, no, it's just funny. Go ahead.
That's an interesting thing, yeah, because we have a lot of people who will say, oh, yeah, aren't you offended by this, etc. And Jim's more than like, no, Jim understands exactly what it's about. So go nuts, obviously. But we're going to have that. Stay tuned to the Jim's Facebook page, Jim's Grit Facebook page, because that announcement, when that generator goes live, it will be Thursday or Friday next week, and get cracking. We look forward to seeing it. The runner-up prizes will be judged as well by internal staff here and that. So we'll pick the best ones that we like as well, and they'll all get a signed book. But the first prize is with Jim, and that'd be the most engaged with one. So get cracking on that. So let's run into some questions now, Jim. I've talked enough. Now I'll start with a bit of a cheeky one. Archie Hood from National Office. He's a mad Collingwood fan.
Yeah, Archie.
He says, will Collingwood win the footy tonight, Jim?
I think you get a diviner for that one. I'm notorious for never having been to an AFL game. In fact, there's a comment.
Never been to one?
Never been to one. There's a comment in the book that I was with one of my franchisors I said, what's that building over there? He said, Jim, you know what the MCG is? And I said, no, I haven't got a clue.
You didn't know what the MCG is?
I had no idea what it was. Some big building. People were...
So number one tip, if you come and meet Jim, don't try and talk to him about footy, because watch your people. Let's say if people at a conference or whatever, you do a lot of talking and they want to talk about something with you. Well, obviously, outside of business, what's some good subjects that you like talking about?
No, anything to do with science, biology is good. History of civilization. I mean, I'm a typical egghead, I guess, but
yeah,
I just can't. I wouldn't be much of a politician. I mean, I just can't talk about certain things. My kids used to ask me when I was younger, what team I balanced for, and I told them Uganda, which was an ancient African kingdom. I just wouldn't give them an answer.
So there you go. So there's a lot of people tuning in now, so great. And hi to everyone who's there. So hi to Blaine, hi to Jason, Jenny Cameron, thanks for tuning in. Dominic Bushell's put a question here. Hi to Dems Lardo as well. So Dominic's gone, did delegating roles make life easier or harder? This is an interesting one. That's a good question.
Well, it takes a while. The hardest thing is finding the right people and know how to choose them and to keep them on board. But essentially, I don't really have to work all that hard. I got one incredible talent as a businessman is I'm not very good at doing most things. So I kind of look at a task and say, okay, am I the best person to, or could somebody else do it at least as well as me? And the usual answer is they can do it better than me. Like this guy here, like Joel. I mean, he's up with all this. I don't even know how to put a Twitter on or anything. It's not my area. I love emails and stuff, and I love the way we do it using in gyms, but I'm not really up with social media. So, and it applies to so many different things. So my job is more or less just finding good people and to a large extent just discussing things with them and saying, hey, how are you going? And
what you have a heap of ideas, because when you get on a roll of an idea, you can have 10 which go, and then it's up to us to implement them and make them work. But also,
I have sort of 10 ideas, 9 of which are pretty crappy, and one of which just might work out. It's kind of on that ratio. But I do. I'm very fertile with different ways of doing things. But we've got great staff now. It's really good. We're just talking before how our staff are very stable. We're keeping people. We're not losing them. and that's great. Because actually, it's very important to have clients. Our focus is always first on our franchisees, because that's the key, because we really, really need more franchisees to keep growing, to cope with the work. But you've got to have great staff too. So you've got to look after everybody.
But you're fairly trusting though, which is hard for a lot of people. I guess so they want to micromanage, but you're not a micromanager at all.
No. Which works, if you've got a good person, it works brilliantly well because you trust them. And sometimes, of course, trust is misplaced and things go wrong. But then somebody tells me, because I talk to a lot of people all the time. So I'll always find out.
What do you call your management? You say managing by wandering around.
Yeah, I like that. People don't come to see me. I usually walk through the office and just
That's true.
chat to people and say, how are you going? And I like that. I like to talk to as many staff members as possible.
Yeah, which you do on a regular basis. I'll run through. So a lot of people tuning in now, which is great. So Chris has gone here. Great fun comp. Thanks. Jenny Cameron's gone. Great idea. Awesome. Thank you. Daniel Richards has gone. If we win dinner with you, Jim, will you have another fun riddle to work out? So maybe you want to tell them about the riddles.
Different to the ones at franchisor training. Yeah, we have a tradition. It's going back many years now, where we run these series of riddles and puzzles and things that it's good. And everybody's been there before, knows them, of course. And everybody gets packing up, laughing at everybody trying to figure out.
That's true. And quite often it's said it distracts them the next day in training because they'll be racking their brain about it in the next day.
There's one answer we won't tell them on the night. We tell them we'll give it to you at the business plans. So we tell them then, and they're looking up the internet and stuff, which is not there, and just trying to figure out what the answers are. Sometimes they get them, but usually they don't. This last one anyway.
That's a good question, Daniel. So Dominic Bush has gone, Stephen Archer, is this Jim's dim sim's yours? I would say, Dominic, that is Stephen Archer's idea. His dumpling delivery. Brett Abdi's gone, hi guys. Jim, what makes you resist using national suppliers for equipment and consumables for the franchises? What are the advantages and disadvantages of doing this?
Well, having our own white label goods.
Well, I don't know if it's white label, but it says, what makes you using national suppliers? Yeah, I don't know. Might be white label.
We always want to find the best deal we can for our franchisees. We don't care how they're labelled. That's a different thing entirely. So people always come into us to say, we want you to buy our stuff. And, what they typically say is, we'll give you a kickback. And we say, no, we don't care about that. Just tell us what deal you can get. We actually had a deal with Taubmans for paint.
Yeah.
And I could give it a great discount, 35% to the franchisees, but they said there's another 10% for you. And you said, well, we don't take that kind of thing. So they said we can't do that. So we've actually had to take the money and put it into an account for the benefit of the division, because it's just not our policy to take money. So where the brand we might want to use is going into the shops. If we can put a brand into somewhere like Bunnings, for example, but that's for the public. But our own guys will just tell them what we think is the best stuff. Yeah,
people, when suppliers approach us, they say, oh, there's a rebate in it for you and whatever. But Jim's never like that. He says, give me the best deal for my franchisees and you can get in.
Well, you look at the problems with RFG and having to go and buy spoons through the official supplier and pay twice what you can get them for in Coles. Now, I've always hated that, because in effect, we set the fees and they're as they are, but you can't compare with anything. But if you compare what you can buy from us, so we had a problem, if any franchise is watching, with the renewals on the insurance.
Yes.
Went up very unreasonably. And I got to say, I was sleeping on the game on this one. I didn't quite recognize what they'd done. And all these protests start coming back. So we went back immediately to the supplier and said, you cannot do this. If you do, you're going to blow the whole deal. So they've immediately come back with a much better deal. And we're looking for another supplier as well, because it's a shock. Because people can look just on a public website and get a better deal than us. That is completely unacceptable. We've got 3,500 people. We've got to be able to get the best deal around.
That's a great point, Jim, because that was a question I had here from actually, I think, a franchisee. He said last week, he said, I was a officer. He's gone, hey, Jim, what's happening with Jim's insurance? Why did it get so high? Question mark.
Well, they're just unreasonable. Look, just anybody in our franchises watching, don't pay it yet. We're going to come out with, we've already got the deal down. We've got a better deal for mowing, which is way down and got rid of that ridiculous excess. But we're also got another company we're talking to. We are, look, yeah, it's my fault. It's our fault for not keeping an eye on it. But that was very shocking to have that. That's
a great question. And thanks for raising that for the franchisees. So Stuart Rainbow's tuned in again. G'day, Jim and Joel will tune in. Thanks, Stuart, for tuning in. He's a gun mowing franchisor out this way. Dominic Bush has gone, go the Gorillas. I think he remembers one of the teams you referred to, the Uganda Gorillas, when we tried to get a footy team commitment out of you.
Yeah.
Josh Schumann's gone, evening, Jim. Had your excavation company, Jim's Diggers, working next door to my place. Very quick workers.
Good.
Great to hear. Thanks for letting us know that. Rob Ellis has gone. Rob from Jim's Batteries, Warrigal here to say g'day. Jim's Batteries. People don't know we got Jim's Batteries, but Jim's Batteries is up and about.
It's a new one. It's good too, because apparently these days when your car breaks down, it's either usually a battery or a tow truck. So it covers most of these cases. We've won it for a while, actually. We haven't got Jim's tow trucks yet, but we'd like that one.
That would be a good one. Blake's gone, how do I win one of the books? Ask a question, Blake. Best question that Jim thinks or comment will win
Best
the
question
book.
tonight.
Yeah, so think of something, and I'll give you a tip. Go around history, science, that sort of area. All right, Mitesh Halani's gone, hello guys, thank you for sharing this and doing it. How can I ask a question? Is there a way we can have voice questions? I haven't been able to see voice questions on this, but you can maybe do a pre-recorded voice submission question. Just leave it in the comment here. I know I'll ask it right now, Mitesh. We do a pretty lean setup here, just a webcam and a mic in front of my computer, but if we can work it out one day, we will. But just leave a question here and we'll ask it to him. Sean's tuned in again. Thanks, Sean. Stephen Archer's gone, would Jim start a Jim's Dumplings divisions? I think Uber Eats has got that covered.
Yeah. Going up against companies like Uber Eats is a very tough game. We tend to be in areas like services, home services, where we're kind of the big guy and we do it. Trying to compete with billion-dollar companies is not my business.
Yeah,
really.
I think if you got the best dumplings, mate, and you think you make minimum $60 an hour, definitely have a crack at it. Scott Manton's gone here. Hi, guys. Just finished my on-the-road practical training with Alan Fox and our WA car cleaning crew. Can't wait to travel back home to being Kalgoorlie to start a new beginning.
Kalgoorlie. Wow, I'm dusty.
I used to live there for 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, did a drillers offsider. So I know Kalgoorlie well. Good luck with that, Scott, and thanks for commenting, mate. Shane Baggett again is tuned in. Shane is the franchisor you keep referring to in everything. I said to him, I should get out of this and go buy a mowing round based on what he's earning. So always. Yeah,
well, not everyone does as well as Shane. It was quite startling. I think he actually wrote back and said next week was 4,900 instead of 4.5 that I mentioned. So
just rubbing it in.
I don't know what this guy's going to do eventually.
Just rubbing it in. He's going to keep going up and up.
There are amazing opportunities in this, and not everybody succeeds. You know, we have about 10% of our franchisees leave after the first year, which is upsetting. We would like to keep all of them, but the fact of the matter is some people they've got real business talent and they just need some way to show it. I was listening to this book today. Actually, it's a great talking book. It's called I think Barking Up the Wrong Tree, right? And it's just talking about how by Eric Barker. Just listened to an audio book, and it was just talking about how satisfying people are to run their own business. Something like 70-something% said that they just love that sense of independence and freedom, and that's what we offer. And I think sure franchisees watching can relate to that. Having your own business is just fun. I love it myself because I'm lucky I've got people prepared to work for me. But the fact of the matter is, your own business, you make your own decisions, you work your own hours. It can be longish hours at times, but it can be flexible. You know, I pick my kids up and take them to school, for example. I can do things that most people in my position couldn't do if they didn't have their own business. So I reckon having your own business is just great.
Yeah, that's a good one there. So John Renders tuned in, said, have a great Easter, guys. And we hope your health's going well, John, a mowing franchisee. Yeah. Jim's Memeing's gone, hey, guys, memeing here. Love the competition. Love seeing my designs on the stream. I find that particular funny in an awesome way. And I'm glad you said that. So we did show that one earlier. I don't know if you saw it, but we had that ready to give you a shout out. So we love your work, Jim's Memeing, and I hopefully meet you soon. Shane Backer's gone, can I get the new book? Ha ha. I think you got enough money to buy it, Shane. So I don't think we'll be giving handouts. Maybe leave a question here about history or something.
We've actually bought quite a few copies, and the franchisors are buying them on. I think it cost about $12 each. So if you're a franchise, you can buy it through us and get a better deal. But even full price of the shop, still a good book.
It is a good book. Hayden Brady has gone, Jim, do you think you would be able to do what you've done in today's day and age? If not, why? And if so, do you think it would be easier or harder? That's an awesome question.
If I started from scratch now, the biggest problem with starting from scratch now is gyms would be there because it's a lot tougher than it used to be. Not so much for finding clients. It's actually easier than it was 30 years ago to find clients, for us anyway. But there's so much competition for franchisees, and that's our struggle. We've got an enormous amount of work, 180,000 unserviced leads last year, and and our divisions actually complement each other very well. We refer work back and forth, and the brand strengthens. But we're all competing for the same bunch of quality people, and they're not unlimited, because not everybody can run a business for themselves, even with help. So it'll be tougher. It's a bit like when Ray Kroc started McDonald's, or at least started as a franchise. Decades ago, there wasn't strong competition out there. To do the same thing today, starting from scratch, would be harder, because some people are already doing it so well and they're so entrenched in the market. So that's my position. If I was starting a business today, I probably wouldn't try to go head to head with somebody else doing it. I'd look for a different, area which hasn't been looked at. I can't even say what exactly, but the great thing about the internet is that it's opening opportunities all the time. The world is changing so fast. I mean, used to be for decades, advertising was the same. It was, first of all, leaflets and local papers and yellow pages. These days, it changes like almost monthly. It's SEO, and then it's Google AdWords, and then it's social media and stuff. And it's really, which is very challenging when you're in business, but it's also very exciting for people who can come into business and learn new ways of doing things and get new ideas and have a fresh approach. And that's why so many major companies have started since that time. Like people like Amazon and Netflix used to be nothing very big, and Google, Facebook, giant companies which didn't even exist a few decades ago. And that's possible. Or Microsoft's another example. It's possible because the world's changing so fast.
Very, very true. That's a great question.
And actually, I think there's incredible opportunities in the area of biology too, epigenetics, these kinds of areas that could change the world dramatically.
Jim's clones?
Yeah, well.
Jim's clones, the one we're referring to before?
I don't think cloning so much myself, but the ability to understand the basis of behavior and things like mental illness and so forth, which we're pursuing in the research program. I'm actually advertising for somebody with a advanced background in epigenetics, CRISPR and so forth, to run a research program. So anybody out there's got an advanced neuroscience degree, I'd love to talk to you.
just on the off chance, that anyone watching.
You never know who's watching.
Exactly right. So Will Simons is going, hey guys, looking at the fencing division, how's it faring at the moment? It's got heaps of unserviced work. Fencing would be a ripping one to get into. Yeah,
it's a great division. We just cannot find enough franchisees. It's the one division which has the worst problem in terms of unserviced leads. I don't think I've ever known any fencing franchisee to be anything else but flat out. It's great business. You can make good money at it. You can put a team on. You can put multiple teams on. It's got, in terms of finding work, it's probably number one.
Yeah,
the best.
Yeah, so put an inquiry in. Well, it's actually got, it really needs them. You can.
It's a wonderful job, fencing, actually. If you've seen these guys at work, they have these powered guns and just
the old nail gun,
nail guns, and they just do it so fast. It's a great thing to see.
And they have a really extensive training program. Like they've got a really
8 weeks, learn from scratch. It's a really good business.
Definitely send an inquiry through. Will, they're a good bunch of people. So Mitesh Helani's gone here. I run a solar business for residents mainly. We serve the whole of Queensland. Question 1: solar has become a price war. Everyone is reducing prices. So how to sustain that in the market if everyone's just competing in price? We don't compete on price. We compete on service. I say that all the time to my franchisees. I give pictures at training. One of the things I emphasize very strongly is never compete on price. We will not start a division where I can't see at least $60 an hour coming to the average operator. It's not worth doing. You show people why you're good. When we had the fencing division in the early days, there was a tendency to compete on price, and it's per meter, so it's pretty clear. And the guy who was driving it actually put together this thing, 10 reasons why you use gyms. And there are good reasons for using a good company. So if you get the wrong company, you put the fence up and it falls down, 5 years later because it hasn't been put together correctly. So it's a lot of fear in it. So I always say go for service, give great service. People think the price is all that matters, but in actual fact, there's factors that matter enormously. Like when somebody calls you, how quickly do you respond? Now, the difference in that is extraordinary, and all my franchisees notice, and I apologize for saying it, but what we've found, for example, is that we in our surveys, we measure how long it takes the franchisee to ring back the clients. They get a message, ring them back. Ring back after 2 hours, less than 50% chance of getting it. You might say it's fair enough, you're not going to get all your jobs, but bring back within 2 hours after the first 10 minutes, jumps to 78%,
bring back in the first 10 minutes, as reported by the client, 85% conversion. That was one study we did on this. So pricing is, people get too hooked on prices. Service counts far more.
You got to communicate that as well. That's the main thing.
You've got to communicate it. Be the quality. Don't go for the cheapest chips end of the market. That's my strong recommendation. And by the way, I'll say something very cheeky to you. You're in business for yourself. Pretend to be interested in a franchise. Come, we'll put you through our entire training course, just the cost of training, no obligation at all. And we'll teach you everything we know. Because most people who do our training course haven't signed. In fact, we prefer that. We prefer you do the training course before you sign. No obligation, no deposit, nothing.
Well, I know we have Jim's Energy starting next month, and Jim's Energy do solar. So maybe, Mitesh, Jim's Energy is something to look at.
Well, I must say, I'm not being entirely altruistic, because in fact, Mitesh, if you came to training, go through the course, even just to get your own business good, and you will get good value. But then at the end of it, you might think, oh, maybe Jim's Energy is not a bad. You'll understand why people come to us.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about our business is that we don't lose a lot of people to go independent. We actually don't make it very difficult for them. The most pay, say, $4,000 to go independent. It actually happens surprisingly rarely, because people see the value in what we do.
That's a great question, Mitesh, and maybe hopefully see you at training. So Jason Pollock's gone, Jim's franchisee for 3.5 years and never regretted a moment. Should have done it 10 years ago. We hear that all the time.
We do hear
all the time. So if you're thinking about taking the plunge, come on board. Thanks for that comment, Jason. Alana Sadasi's gone, hi, Jim, from Ron and Alana. Dad loved the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they just said here, yeah.
Oh, good.
So thanks for that.
Yeah,
comment.
this is some stuff we found out about what you guys were up to. I didn't know about. Nothing bad, but we weren't quite clear who owned the person. And apparently there was some arrangement going on that I wasn't aware of. Yeah.
So Melissa Pollock's gone here, hi, Jim, what's the most influential or helpful business book you have read or listened to? Good question.
But Behind the Arches about McDonald's, I reckon.
Okay.
I love that book. There's a lot of great books around. I'm a great, actually, I would say reader. I'm more of a listener, because I drive a lot, and when I'm driving, I always listen to something like that book, Backing Up the Wrong Tree I was mentioning before.
Yeah.
So, geez, there's so many. I love reading actual biographies. I like to read the story about what somebody did. That's one of my favorite things. How they achieved it. I always want to know what happened. I was always read about everybody, and finished reading about Facebook and about Google and about Microsoft and anything I can get my hand on about an actual business owner and what they did and how. And I find it fascinating, but it's also a great source of ideas.
Do you apply much of it when you get them? Like, do you apply much of it? So if you think there's a good idea in it, do you apply it actually?
Yeah. I'm always, my mind never stops working. There will be not one day goes by when I don't think, how can we do this better? Which is what I say to people. They think that business is a matter of having some spectacular idea. You're suddenly mowing lawns and you're saying, well, maybe I should franchise, and suddenly you're a multimillionaire. It's nothing like that. What happens is it's thousands and thousands of little decisions all the time. How do I catch the grass best? How do I pick up the grass in a catcher? How do I navigate my streets? How do I use my brush cutter better? What equipment's going to work better? How do I get around a tree? And then if you employ people, what do I look for? How do I improve my employment process? And at every level, it's just looking again and again, and never being satisfied, never thinking I'm good enough. The best people in business aren't the great geniuses. They're people who are just, often they're quite humble. They're always looking for ways to improve what they do. And often the worst ones are actually those who think they know everything, and they don't listen. They don't learn. It's very frustrating when I see people like that, and I know how much better they could do. And you'd be amazed, actually. Some of the best people in gyms, people like, Haydar Hussain and Sharon and Connell and people like that are quite humble individuals. You wouldn't think they're not puffed up in any way. They'll always listen to everybody.
Yeah. And
they'll take advice, and I say, oh, that sounds really good. And I learn from these guys too. I learn from people. I love to hear from our franchisees, and I get every week I would get a good idea at least once a week from one of my franchisees, just saying, what about this, or this could be better, or something like that. I love that.
So there's a lot of people tuning in now, so let us know you're here with a like, comment, or question. We appreciate the questions here. I'll try and run through a few of these which you've left them as quick as I can, just so hopefully Jim can hang around a little bit longer. So Brett Watkins has gone, hi, Jim. What do you think of an idea of Jim's Mobile Barbecue, sausage sizzle for events and competition for Bunnings? So I know we have Jim's Mobile Catering now. So I guess maybe that could be something under that.
We did actually have Jim's Mobile Barbecue for a while, but and there's no reason it can't work. The only it's a funny thing. People think, and again, they think what you got to do is think of the most brilliant idea. It's irrelevant, really. It's the most brilliant person. And you look at the divisions of ours that have worked well. I mean, mine was obviously what we started with, but you look at, I mean, cleaning was going nowhere until Haydar Hussain took over, and he's just a great guy, great innovator, loveliest guy. And you know, why are divisions like building inspections doing so well? You know, Paul Comerford's just a great leader.
Seems to be that leader at the top. If that's the right thing, it tends to, no matter what the service is, it tends to go well. And
Brett Blair I mean, Pool Care was going nowhere. And Brett Blair took over and had 25, is now streaked past 100 and going hell for leather. And there's so many divisions. I mean, Sharon's almost doubled the division of dog wash since she took over. It's all leadership at every level. If you've got a great franchisee, you'll have a great business. If you have a great franchisor, you'll have great franchisees. If you have a great divisional head, you'll have great everything. It's all about leadership.
One of the comments here is going, what about Jim's wigs for Vincent Bushell? So I think Vince a bit challenged on the hair, so maybe we have a wig for you.
Well, I probably need it myself.
You need a toupee going. So there's two people who've answered a similar question here. So Matt Hewitt's gone, hi boys, Jim, has there ever been a thought to have a Jim's mower mechanics to service the franchisees' tools? And John Render's gone, is there a chance one night talking tech on machinery and servicing roadside quick fixes instead of franchisees ringing me when their mowers blowers break down could be a cost saver? So, yeah.
I'm not the best person to talk about such things, honestly. For somebody who was in the mowing business for 15 years, I really know remarkably little about machines. my great thing was going to the shop and say, okay, fix it, because I can mow lawns pretty well, but I'm not an expert on such things.
So there's a question here from Matt Sheldon. He's gone, hi Jim, Matt from Jim's Mowing, Marupna and Shepparton North. In one of your previous Facebook Live, so thanks for watching it, you mentioned that price rating can affect the amount of leads you get. Is the customer made aware of the price rating?
Only if it goes through Go Blitz, which we're renaming Jim's Plus, which is very rarely. So no, has no real impact at the moment. I don't know why you want a cheap price rating anyway. Even if you were online, and we think in the future we'll get more jobs that way. Would you want the customer that wanted the cheapest price? Or would you want the customer that said, hey, I don't mind paying a bit more, I just want good quality? If you're a good quality operator, which one would you want? Because if they're just going for price, it's going to be price competitive, and you don't need us. One of the things we want to do in the future is start rating our clients. So this is it's in the plan for the IT. So we can actually have our franchisees rating clients based on things like how easy are they going with, and also whether they accept the job too. You don't want somebody getting quotes and quotes and quotes to get the cheapest price. So we want to be able to rate our clients, and then our best franchisees can actually say, hey, we only want the good clients. How about that?
So Steve Long's gone here. Why can't franchisee that get other divisions work get that lead fee? So why can't franchisees that get other divisions work get that lead fee is his question.
Well, you want the lead fee, get another franchisee on and get them to do the work. The thing is, we need franchisees more than anything. So if you can put a franchisee on who takes leads from other divisions and satisfy the customer, well, then you deserve the credit as the franchisor. Because, look after your franchisees well and make sure they make a lot of income if you're a franchisor, and put more franchisees on and take the work yourself and take the work from other divisions. You deserve the credit because you're the one that's got to support the franchisee, not the other division that puts the job in they can't handle. You're the person that's responsible, so you should be supported.
Thanks for that question, Steve. So Ronald's tuning in from Rockhampton, Queensland. I'm sure it's a lot warmer up there than it is down here. And let us know you're here with the like, a comment, or a question. So I'll get to a couple of questions that were left last week. So Jamie Byard's gone via Facebook. Hi, Jim. One of the issues we have at the moment is that franchisees struggle to convert leads that are booked online. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, they don't convert quite as well. We don't think it's quite as bad as all that. The studies we've done, it's something like, 60% convert online to 75% convert through a phone call, because it's a bit easier to get multiple quotes, I guess. I don't know. We have some thought of allowing people to opt out of taking online leads, but the thing is, there's a priority system in gyms for those who don't know, so that if you've got the last lead, you get a lower priority for the next one if it's not in anybody's territory. So the only way we could do that is to actually have two separate lists, one for online, one for so the person who took the online leads wouldn't miss out on the slightly high quality phoned-in leads. But we're actually considering that, and as in most things at gyms, if it doesn't actually affect customer service, we'll do whatever most of our guys want.
So Matt's replied here, he's gone, I have a high rating, still convert around 80%. So,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yes.
So
good people convert incredibly well, and it's got a lot to do with just simple speed. I know people who say they don't convert, but they don't get back fast enough. There's as Shane was saying the other day, he makes a game of actually like as fast as he possibly can, and gets incredibly good conversion rate. He was saying in the 90s, and with good prices too. So get off price. Really, it's not the area to compete in. You don't need to compete on price. We tell our franchisees this again and again and again. And the best ones who give great service and do what we say, they don't need to be cheap. It's a mugs game. It really is.
So thanks for your question and your reply on that one, Matt. That's awesome. So I'll get on this one here. So Charlie Jackson's gone via Facebook. He's gone, is Jim handy around the home?
No, I'm hopeless. My
so
wife's
the master of home services, professional services. So
no. I have this theory that you do what you're good at. So if you're a great lawn mowing contractor, why fix your own car? Because, and this is what my theory was when I was mowing lawns. I was doing a physical manual job, but I knew I could make probably today's terms the equivalent of $150 an hour on my gardening work and doing that kind of thing. If you compare what I'm like, compare with a mechanic who's got experience in the tools, I'm probably worth about $5 an hour fixing my own car. So why wouldn't I do what I'm good at and let them do what they're good at?
So there's a couple of comments regarding to this online stuff, which I want to keep going on with because I think it's really good. So Matt Sheldon's gone, I have the same problem. Online leads rarely answer your call back. Jenny Cameron suggested maybe lower the online lead fees. John Redden's gone, I find online are just tie kickers. So a bunch of comments there.
It's not as bad as that. We're doing some statistics. Actually, we're actually following up a certain number of leads to find out. It's not as extreme as that. It's nothing like mostly tie kickers. The conversion rate is definitely lower. And we are looking at the option of opting out of online leads for those who want to do it. But as I said, you'd have to do it. A lot of people don't mind them, actually. Some people make very good money out of them. Some people don't seem to do so well. So why not let those who choose? But as I said, I don't want to... you can't just opt out straight, because if you do, the people who are needing the most work will get most of the online leads and they'll get lower quality leads. And that's not fair. Yeah. So I'm not against it. It's just...
Thanks for the comment. That was awesome with that little interaction there. So John O'Deem has gone via Facebook. Hi guys, Jim, what do you think about changing vehicle wrapping? Could we move to magnetic signage? So John O'Deem tunes in every week. He's a cleaning franchisee. Jim's Cleaning for me have one of the best signages because it's a nice full wrap. It stands out really much on the road. So he's asked, could we move to magnetic signing?
Well, it's cheaper, but it's just not as good. I mean, wrapping your whole car is a fantastic technology. It wasn't around in the old days at all. It's great technology. And once again, it's not the sort of thing you want to save money on. It's one of those small things to look the part, to look great, to advertise your promote your business so well when you're going there. But if you can charge an extra 1% because you look better, you'll end up making a heap more money. So I'd say with anything, don't sweat the small things. Don't try and save money. Look at presenting such a great image, you make money. I would be against that. Apart from anything else, the other problem too is magnetic signs. People take them off and they don't put them back on again.
Yeah.
We've had problems in the past with that. We don't like them. It's not as good.
Well,
so one of the things we've done in the past few years is to actually do regular audits, because a lot of our trailers and vehicles were very poorly signed. So now we regularly check.
Every 2 years, we have an email system which goes out, and you've got to send photos.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't send photos.
And since we've done that, it's been a lot better. But we had notoriously bad images in the past. Our competitors like VIP were actually better than us then. So it's. I wouldn't relax that one. I really wouldn't. Never drop your standards. Just increase your prices, but don't drop your standards.
So Brett Watkins has gone here. Jim, do you mow your own lawn, or do you get franchisees to do it?
It depends where, actually. If it's here, because it's I'm next door to the office, so I get it. They bring a ride on over. But if it's at my farm, I do it myself. I've got a AEG battery power.
Yeah, the battery one. You like the battery one?
Yeah, I do. It's very quiet.
Yeah. So what we're doing actually soon is Jim's going to do some tips on
long grass. I get a lot of complaints about long grass. I've got a way of cutting really high grass, like up to 1 meter high, with a catch. It picked up clean. It's really simple, quick, efficient. And I know it's good because when I was someone who used to quote for other people, they didn't mind my ordinary quotes. They hated my long grass quotes because they said they're too cheap. And I said, no, you can do this whole job in an hour. And I'd show them how. So I've got a great method. That's going to be one of our first videos. We've got a new video person starting shortly.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. We're going to capture a lot of content, and Jim's going to do some stuff, and we're going to have a heap of interesting content. So Brett, sorry, I'll go down here. I'll just find out. So Jim's mainly gone, does Jim have anything to say to the scumbags who use plastic grass?
Well, it's not as bad as you think, actually, because plastic grass actually causes a lot of maintenance problems. The weeds get in and it gets messed up and stuff. You still got to maintain it. It's not as maintenance free as you think. We had some put in here at the office just behind there, and you got to spend time looking after it, and you got to brush it, and you got to pull the weeds out and stuff. It's not as low maintenance as all that.
So thanks for tuning in here, guys. Before we finish this off in 5 more minutes, I'll get through some questions as quick as I can. Nathan Ox, this was a cheeky one via Facebook last week, and it's something you touched on at the start. He's gone, how do you become rich when you're not the one doing the jobs? People are working for your franchise. How does one get started in this role? So I think he just believes that you just, as you said before, start pushing him out. I'm going to franchise this, and poof, you're a millionaire. But all the steps in between, he probably doesn't understand.
Well, it's not just a matter of, it's a matter of going gradually. I didn't just suddenly become a franchisor. I started off, even the early stage of Jim as the franchise, I was actually in the office answering the phones and doing the admin work as well alongside my early staff. It's only very gradually you grow into the role. And the important thing too is if you come from the grassroots, you actually understand what's going on. You understand the business at every level. It's been very useful. First of all, that I knew how to mow lawns pretty well. I could make a lot of money. And people say, you can't make money mowing lawns. I show them my diary. I say, this is what I was making. I was doing 12 jobs a day, half of them cleanups. This is the money I was making. I'd show them. And then when I worked in the office myself, I understood the problems of answering calls. So at every level, you learn the business, and then you find people who can do it for you. It's not a fast process. There's many opportunities, actually. Sometimes people say to me they think that they should go independent rather than a franchise because there's more opportunity to grow. But in actual fact, it's far, far, far more likely for our people to build major businesses because there's a lot more work around, and there's roles of being franchisors or starting a new division and so forth. So there's opportunities everywhere. In fact, we need franchisees, but we are even more desperately in need of good leaders. We're always looking for our top people and saying, okay, could you step up? I know I was speaking to Shane about that when he told me what he was making on his second week on the job. And I thought, Shane, you've looked to what you can do with us, and I've got my eye on this guy. If you're still on, Shane, I hope to see him in franchisor trainings, maybe starting a new division. Who knows? The opportunities there are absolutely amazing.
If you want to read more about that or watch the content about that, head to jims.net. There's a whole section on there, what opportunities are available, franchisee, franchisor, divisional, international opportunities, existing businesses.
So people like Haydar, Zane's a perfect example of it. I don't know if we discussed him before, and I don't want to put him in it, but when he came to us, he'd actually had a go at starting his own business, and he was a cleaner. He is now a multi-millionaire. His house is a third of an acre. It's like a joke within gyms. This guy is filthy rich, but he's also made a lot of other people wealthy too. He's just a great operator, and he's a great leader. And there are golden opportunities out there for people. I love the service industry because it's so open. You don't need a lot of capital to start. Very little amount of money to get going, and just put sweat equity in and learn the business and grow with it and give great service and great leadership and great innovation. There is no upper limit. That's the fun of it. If you're in retail, you're competing against billion-dollar companies, and if you're doing manufacturing, you're competing against China. But the service industry is so open. It's a great business to be in. I feel very blessed of having actually stumbled into it, which was no great plan of mine. I was going to be an academic. That was my business plan, which totally failed.
So Linda Cleary-Willis has gone, us cleaners don't mind plastic grass. Yep, I'm sure you wouldn't.
You're actually right too.
Yeah, very, very true. So Cameron Smith's gone, hey, Jim and Joel, thanks for tuning in. Julie Baldry, who works over in the call centre with the great team over there, has gone, we need franchisees. So that bloke watching before that's from the call centre themselves. They're the one who take all the clients' bookings. So
Julie is great too. I often get stuff from her too. Julie's one of our stars in there.
Yeah. So and then Zach's gone here. We will put your graphic up there, Zach. Just got to get it approved, and we'll get that all across. Now, basically, I'll run through 2 more questions on here. Then we'll probably leave it there because Jim's got to get away for tonight. So Nicola last week via Facebook's gone, hi guys, do you have a greater demand for fire services franchisees generally nowadays? Have you seen any significant fluctuations to the demand for this service given the change this industry is going through at the present? The fire services. So I know Jim's test and tag has Jim's fire safety, and they have a bunch of services.
Look, it's going well. It's the smallest part of the division as yet. We think it's got great potential. It's just a case of, again, it's not, services very rarely define our growth. It's having good franchisees and good people to lead them. And, one of these days, maybe somebody will come up in that division that'll really, really open that area up for us. It could certainly be a lot bigger. It's a great one too. For those who don't know, fire services is going into somebody's home and figuring out how to make it safe. And there's a multitude of different things that you can do, and it's a great business. The test and tag people do this, but it's fantastic business. Yeah,
it definitely is. So thanks for that question. That's really good. So Zach Key's gone, you're a legend, Jim. You always get one legend or icon or some comment every week. So thanks for that, Zach. Now Graham's tuned in. So hi, Jim and Joel. Thanks for tuning in, Graham. Thanks everyone who's tuned in so far. I'll probably put one more question here, then we'll run through and we'll see what question Jim liked the best for the book. And thank you for leaving it. If I didn't get to it tonight, sometimes the Facebook algo, it doesn't for some reason put them all in there and I see them post. So what I do is I bank them up and I put them here and I put them to Jim next week. So if you did leave it, I did not see it, I'll get to it and I'll put it there. And we appreciate you leaving a question, comment, and for tuning in. The more engagement you give us, the better and the more we will do this. So we appreciate your support. So basically, I'll just run through a couple more here. So Shane Lois is gone, what does a mobile mechanic franchise cost? I'll just put that in there. You have to put an inquiry in, Shane. We don't know ourselves because it's so new. I think next month it goes live.
Yeah.
So Mobile Mechanics has got a lot of interest with Jim's Personal Training, actually. Jim's Personal Training has got the most engagement of any Facebook ad that we've ever had. So that's a lot of interest in those 2 new ones. So
I don't actually know a lot of the stuff. I'm the person they send people to me when they don't know what division they're interested in. I'll ring them up and talk to them about it. But I don't know the prices very well because there's so many divisions and so many deals on. But what I will do usually is ask a person what they like doing, and I say, "Where's your heart?" So I was a mine contractor. I love the outdoors. I like gardening. I like being in the open air. So it suited me. But
so that's a question we always get: is how much? They just think it's a one flat fee. But you're right, Jim. It's whatever you like, and then we'll have a. Best thing to do is give us an inquiry so you can speak to the person who runs the area directly, and then away we go. We get that question all the time: how much does it cost? And they think it's a one flat fee. It can vary on so many things. All right, so the last question I'll leave you with, which was from Anonymous. So they didn't want to put their name to it. Might have been someone in here, I don't know. But someone's gone, Jim, why do you never smile in photos? You always look grumpy.
I hate being photographed. For years I was never photographed. Actually, it's really weird making yourself a national icon and disliking being photographed so much. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows. Does anybody know the reason? We try the reason why I'm smiling in the logo.
Tell it again. This is a good one. Tell it again.
It's actually I was being photographed. They were trying to get a photo. They weren't necessarily thinking of the logo, but they were thinking of they want a nice photo of me against a trailer, and they were trying to get me to smile, and it was so difficult. I just couldn't do it. And eventually, one of my managers actually pretended to put his tongue into the photographer's ear, and that's why I'm smiling in that logo. So
so a tongue in the ear produced the smile on the logo, pretty much.
Yeah. I just hate cameras. I honestly do.
Yeah. And so with all the media, though, how are you finding all the media? Because you're doing a lot of media now. You have been. You getting a bit more comfortable with it, or?
Yeah. Media's okay. I don't mind talking to people. I can talk about anything and everything and nothing. I mean, I'm just a blabbermouth, but it's. Smiling at a camera is not my favorite thing. If I had a job that would be bottom of the possible things to be Jim's as a fashion model, apart from the fact that I'm extremely ugly and so nobody's going to give me any work. But as an actual job, I think that would be the worst thing I could possibly imagine.
So guys, we'll leave it there. Marianne Pissol Donohue's gone, hi Jim and Joel from Sydney. Paul from Sydney, Jim's Dog Wash. So thank you for tuning in. And we've got a few more here, so we'll leave it there. So just remember, guys, thanks to Jim for coming. Have a really good Easter and a safe Easter. We hope to see you again next week at Thursday, 7 o'clock. If I didn't get to your question or your comment, I'll make sure I get to it next week. Now, Jim, out of the questions that were asked to you tonight, which one did you like the best to give the book to?
Well, I'm going to be very boring, but I like the guy who asked about the insurance because because it's so important that our franchisees let me know when they've got an issue, and that's one of the hardest things. And I really appreciate the fact that people went berserk about this, which I wasn't quite aware of, and told me. And we did something about the problem. We went back to the suppliers and said, get that price down, get that excess down, look for alternative suppliers. And if people didn't complain to us, they didn't tell us, that wouldn't happen. So whoever it was who asked that question, your book. I hope you enjoy it.
And there was another question on there which I liked, which was about starting today. If you had to start again, I thought that was a good one. That was very thought out. So I'm going to be a bit cheeky here, and
you give them a book too.
One. But so with that book there for the insurance question, please DM us your details. I think I do have your name here. I might even proactively message you for your postal address. Give that to me, and we'll get Jim to sign it, and he'll send it out to you. Thanks for that question. Just before we go, remember next week the announcement will be on the Jim's Facebook page when the actual logo generator goes live on our site. So it'll be Jim's Logo Comp. It'll be hashtag Jim's Logo Comp for anything you do with that to make sure you get noticed. It'll run up to the end of June. And thanks to Jim's Memeing, I'll give him a shout out because it's been via his site, which we got all those ones before. And thanks for tuning in. Have a really safe Easter. Thanks for your time, Jim.
Yeah, you too. Great Easter.
Have a good one, guys. We'll see you next week.